starting off with a couple of videos by request. I love getting videos from you folks telling me what you want to hear, because then I know I'm giving you what you want. Got a couple of video requests for nutritional dietary information. And before I dive into some of these, I feel like I have to preface what I'm going to be talking about, my slant on things, because as anyone giving information, as my Taekwondo instructor always used to tell me, so whenever you've got someone giving you ideas or anything, you have the benefit of their past, all of their experience and everything, but the downside is you also have their experience and everything that kind of taints and brings all of the negative baggage with what they're talking about. And that is so the case with me and nutrition, because dietary stuff and nutrition and I don't exactly have the most rosy history. In fact, it's downright crappy. I got into fitness and stuff when I was at a young age, 14 or so, and right from the get-go, I took on all sorts of very strict dietary measures. Don't eat any bad foods, have good foods. What I was eating was always constantly changing, and it wasn't until college that the light bulb went off and I went into a class that studied eating disorders, and I suddenly realized I had a very disordered pattern of eating. I did not have a normal way of eating, and while I was thinking that I was doing things right the whole time, I was actually doing things very, very wrong. And then I read the book Health Food Junkies, all about the idea of orthorexia, which is basically the idea of your concept, your obsession with eating healthy gets so overwhelming in your life and your lifestyle that it becomes a bad thing, a good thing. And part of the lure of orthorexia is it makes it seem like all of the trips and the struggles that you go through are actually supposed to be there. But now, many years later, I'm at the point where I've basically thrown all that stuff away, and I don't subscribe to any sort of dietary dogmas or theories or anything like that very strictly. And when I look back at my life, I know a lot of people are saying things like, oh, if I had my life to live again, I wouldn't do anything different. I'm not one of those people. I do a hell of a lot of things very differently, and my subscription to various eating dietary methods and stuff is one of them, because I look back on it, and basically it wasn't like I was throwing up in the toilet or anything like that, but I look back and it's kind of like I was putting a self-imposed gray, crappy weather pattern over every single situation I was in. Weddings, birthday parties, going out on dates, because I had this dietary stuff that I was following. So now, whenever I hear people talk about these things like, don't eat these foods, they're bad for you, or you'll get lean and you'll be healthy and you'll live to be 100 if you eat this certain way, those are the kinds of things, those promises that led me down that path. So now when people talk about all these new dietary methods and stuff, I just want to smack the bastard across the face, because that kind of stuff was one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my life. So, okay, enough with that. Let's get on to today's topic for today's show. What we're talking about today is how to survive a Chinese buffet. Because I went to Chinese buffet the other day, and I love going to Chinese buffets. They're great places, good food, and good value, right? Now, for a lot of folks, the Chinese buffet is the devil incarnate as far as food, but I think it's exactly the opposite. It's a great place to eat, and eat very, very well. Here's my strategy. First off, load up on the stuff that's really, really good. I go there and I get lots of food, lots of meat-based stuff, spare ribs, chicken, pork, steak, that sort of thing. Lots of veggies. The buffet we have here is very meat and veggie heavy, and I love that. So I load up my plate with that sort of thing. But one of the great things about going to Chinese buffet, as opposed to Chinese restaurant and stuff, is because I have my favorite Chinese foods. I'm a pushover for sweet and sour chicken. Well, the beautiful thing about the buffet, and I learned this back from my college days, is that when you go to a buffet, you can take just one or two little bits of certain foods and be satisfied. You don't have to take a lot. Now, if I go to a Chinese restaurant and I'm like, boy, I really want that sweet and sour chicken, I gotta order a whole honking bit of it, right? Like 9 pieces or something. But if I go to the buffet, I can just get 1 or 2 pieces and I'm good, I'm done. I feel satisfied, I've had my sweet and sour chicken, and it's only been 1 or 2 pieces, so I keep the portion control and that stuff down. The other thing too is a lot of times I read these things online of how to survive a buffet, and they always talk about stick to the 1 plate rule. It's got to be like the worst advice for a buffet I've ever heard. The whole point, the fun of going to a buffet is you get multiple trips, right? You get to try different things, and the thing is, it works very well if you're alone. But if you're going with a group of friends, they're not going to stick to that 1 plate rule. And if they are, maybe it would work, but never been the case with me, even with one other person. So what are you going to do? Have 1 plate and then everyone else is making trips and you just sit in the booth? No, come on, that's not going to work. Let's be realistic here. So my suggestion is take a little bit each trip, lots of veggies, lots of protein sources and stuff, and take just 1 or 2 of the things that are so-called, terrible things, the General Tso's chicken and everything like that. The last rule that you want to keep in mind is always give yourself permission to go back for more. If I were to take 1 piece of the sweet and sour chicken and be like, well, here's my 1 piece that I can have, naturally, I'm just going to want more of it. But if I take 1 or 2 pieces and I think, here's my sweet and sour chicken, if I want more, I can get more. Usually, 9 times out of 10, you take the smallest portion size, that's going to do you. That's going to satisfy you. You'll be like, nah, it's fine. I really don't need more. I don't really want more. I want some more of these things, because you get lots of variety at these buffets. That's the great thing about it. So those are my thoughts on nutrition. More to come in the next few videos, including the dietary dichotomy, calorie quality versus calorie quantity, why both sides of the coin are probably not the best way to follow. Thoughts down below. Till then, be fit, live free.